Hi, everybody. Welcome to Capital to the Coast BNI. My name is Mike Manning. Each week, we bring you a local small business success story from either the Triangle BNI region or the Coastal BNI region of North Carolina. If you're not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. And our little slice of heaven here in North Carolina takes us from Mebane all the way to the coast of Wilmington. And each week we have about 41 chapters meeting. Our goal is to help each other grow our businesses. Our local small business success story this week is Rob Ricco with R Remodeling and Construction. Rob is in the Arete Business Leaders chapter that just launched a few weeks ago. They meet Wednesdays at 8:30 a.m. at Hope Community Church on Buck Jones Road. Rob, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Mike. How about you?
Doing good, man. Glad to have you on here. So, Rob is a BNI veteran. He's been in BNI over 3 years. He joined the Arete group, helped them get launched. He is the vice president of the chapter, and he is also a licensed general contractor. All right, Rob. So, I'm always a name guy. So, tell me the story again about the name of A&R Remodeling and Construction.
Yeah, my wife and I were trying to pick names for our company together because my wife owns the company as well. And we bouncing a lot of names. A&R is named after our kids. Amelia and Robert Jr. We just really wanted something that really means to us that we can keep a company and our family for generations to come. So we kept bouncing around, but we kept going back to A&R.
Very nice. And it's always interesting as a dad, because I have 2 boys, and my wife and I had the discussion, junior, not junior, what do you do? So what was your thought process on that?
hmm we didn't think that far ahead. We just wanted to name it for the kids.
Yeah. No, 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 but as far as naming your son Rob Jr.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Was that you guys was
I
that
was a junior. Yeah, with my daughter, Amelia, we knew, so my wife's has family has a tradition they keep the same middle name.
mhm,
So her mom, her, and my daughter have the same middle name. My family's tradition is coming from an Italian family. We keep the same name as my father, as his father. So he's really not a true junior. It's not the same middle name, but you know,
how many generations of Roberts are there or Robs?
four.
Nice. Okay. Well, yeah, because names are interesting. The tradition in our family is we do the middle name as well. Like
Okay.
my youngest son, my nephew, and my oldest grandson all have Murphy as their middle name, which was my mom's maiden name. So I like the connections like that where you can carry on a name, either first name or middle name. So I'm a big fan of that. So, um,
Yes.
all right. So you folks, we are talking with a true entrepreneur. So Rob you grew up in New York City, in the trades world with your dad, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I grew up in a very blue collar neighborhood with a lot of tradespeople, a lot of city workers. My father was like a flooring person, a little bit of jack of all trades. My grandfather had a high end painting business for a long time, and my uncle was a painter, but he became a general contractor and built over 200 something plus homes in the area. I was very fortunate in my teenage years and in my early 20s. I worked with him a lot. I really learned how to build up on the roof with the guys, building the kitchens, really learned the ins and outs of all that. I worked with my father for numerous of years, learning the flooring trade, ran 2 trucks with him. I was responsible for everything at a very young age, responsible for the materials, paying the guys, ensuring customer satisfaction, make sure the job comes out properly. I took a lot of pride in that. At a very young age, I was running um, my own stuff, and then being a very blue collar area, my mom was like, you need a good job with benefits. That was kind of like the way I grew up. A lot of family members, so I got a job at Con Edison. For users that don't know, that's like the Duke Energy of New York City, electrical utility there. I worked in the emergency department. I worked in the overhead construction department. I was there for 10 plus years. Just really learned the electrical trade very well on the high side and the customer side. And then when we moved to North Carolina 6 years ago, my wife and I wanted a better quality of life. Main reason why we moved here for a multitude of reasons. We opened up a flooring business first. I knew flooring really well. I knew tile really well. We went to a bunch of trainings. We opened up that business, and it went really, really well. We kind of blew up, especially after COVID with the construction boom. But I just kept naturally gravitating towards building GC stuff. I had previous clients call me, "Hey Rob, you did a great job in my bathroom. But we want the primary bed done. Can you, general contractor, can you bring the electrician, glass guys, tile guys, can you do all that stuff? Well, I mean, I can, but I'm not a licensed GC yet. So what I just started doing was started connecting them with the people. I started GCing the job, but not getting the profit for it because I didn't want to
Mm.
break any laws in North Carolina. Because you do projects over 40 grand in North Carolina, you have to be a licensed general contractor. Started partnering up with other GCs on large projects, and then I told my wife, I said, I see an opportunities here for this side of the business, and I took my general contractors test. I passed it. We opened up this LLC probably about 6 months before that. Let's just see where this goes. We were just it kind of we did really really well. We actually sold the flooring business, and we're just fully focused on this. And we have another business as well. My wife runs that more than I do. We buy properties, we rent them out, so we bird rent to them. We're actually in the middle of our fourth one right now.
Yeah. So let's go back to so, folks. Here's your first public service announcement today. I learned this from a realtor the other day. I think I know it, but I'd forgotten about it. And Rob, you mentioned about permitting. I learned that if you are getting ready to sell your house and you did any kind of addition and it was never permitted, you cannot include that in the square footage of the house. I
That's correct.
I did not know that. So, folks, if you've done now, you can go back, and I think this is true, Rob. They're talking about this. You can go back and get something re-permitted, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there,
Yeah,
there.
I mean, then
Yeah.
you really was it done right? Was it done properly?
Yep.
The right size floor choice, the right size raft, the installation. You might be. It could be a full tear down and rebuilt, or it could be
Yep.
depends on how it was done.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because so, folks, if you added a room to your house 5 years ago and you didn't get it permitted because your Uncle Billy or your next door neighbors and your buddies, because all you guys know how to do stuff, and it's 600 square feet or whatever it is, you cannot add that as the size of the house so you can get a higher price for it. So just want everybody to know that. All right. So Rob, how old were you the first time you went to work for your dad?
Oh, I was young as a kid. I've been going on job with him since I was like 2 3 years old. Weekends, just I have pictures of me just swinging a hammer.
Nice.
3 years old, just touching everything.
So
Actually think I'm doing something.
I figured there was a long list of things you broke first, but as you kind of got a sense of all the things that your dad and your uncle and all those guys do, what type of things to build or fix did you gravitate towards as a young kid?
Um, I really love the building side of things when I work with my uncle. I love new construction, building. I really love the process, like I love the whole process, start to finish. Getting the land, getting architectural drawings. I just think it's really, really super cool process. And like in my brain, they're like, oh, this is how they build skyscrapers. I'm doing it on a smaller scale. I've always really enjoyed that.
So did you, as you were growing up and learning just the trades world and being good with your hands and things like that, did you have friends that would ask you over to take a look at something, see if you could fix something in their house?
Yeah, all the time. I By the time I was 17, I had my own van because I used to do a lot of side jobs for my father. I basically did a lot of jobs with him, and then I would bring a lot of my friends, on job with them.
Oh,
It would be my helper by the time I hit 17, and then yeah, every time someone needed some kind of flooring, some electrical, I was always the guy. Oh yeah, I bought this house. I need a fan put up. I'm like, all right, well, make me some dinner and I'll do it for you.
there you go. I like that. Is there something in a house you haven't fixed yet or built yet?
No, I pretty much touched everything, so I could pretty much don't tell everybody that because nobody calls me, but.
No, I believe you on that. So what was it like for on your dad's side and while you're working with him, growing that book of business in New York City? A lot of competitors?
Yeah, I mean, New York City is a unique area where there's a lot of second, third, fourth generation companies, in construction, been there a long time. If you go up there, it's just a lot of established companies. We separated ourselves. We were smaller, two trucks, two jobs going a day. But my father, we really grew a lot when I came on full time with him at 18. 'Cause I went to school when I worked with him full time. I went to school at night in the week with nighttime. Me being his right hand man, someone he really trusted. We went from one truck to two trucks within a couple of months, and it could have been a little challenging in ways working with family sometimes. But my father was always a little harder on me because I was a son. But I
Mm.
mean, he molded me, who I am today, my work ethics. You know, just take care of the customer.
And I would imagine that he had a few of those workers and vendors that were with him for a long time, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
we had the same vendors. We had two places where we had vendors. He had workers working with him before I came on, and yes,
Yeah, and that's always one of those I like to hear those stories, but yeah, because that tells me the ownership of the company is doing something right. When you hear, "Oh yeah, this is Rob, he's been with us 22 years." That means something's working out, you're treating him right, and you know this, if you treat your employees right, they're most likely gonna treat your customers right.
yeah, absolutely. It's really treat your people right, 100%.
So, did you guys have many jobs inside New York City?
Yes, we
Alright.
did a lot of work in union for them. So New York City is a little different than the South. There's a lot of unions per trade. You have like an electrician's union, you have a flooring union, iron workers unions. They have that up there. So my father was part of that union, so we just get some union jobs. Commercial work was fun, different animal. You started at 7 o'clock and you worked till like 2 o'clock straight, and that was pretty much your day, unless if you
Okay.
did overtime.
Alright.
And then like 8 guys at the same time.
So did you
Different challenges.
yeah, oh, yeah, oh, I bet. So logistically, when you were working in New York City, I just envisioned parking nightmare where you can park your truck to get to your equipment and stuff.
That's what I was just thinking about, the logistics nightmares of where we could park, when we could park. Materials already on sites, but finding that parking was probably the most stressful part. Once we found that parking on our job, then we knew we were good.
Did you, as an individual, have a preference, commercial or residential work?
I mean, I like both, different sides of things. I love residential work because it can be a lot more gratifying with customers.
Mhm.
Some of my jobs are someone's kitchen, their first time they're ever doing a kitchen remodel, and it's an expensive project. I just love the gratifying aspect at the end, how happy they are, and you know, um, I love that side of things. Residential can be a little bit more work, a little bit more. You have to communicate with customers
Mhm.
more. You're working inside their homes. We're gonna be there for 6 to 8 weeks doing a kitchen remodel. We have to keep an account that they're living there at the same time. I gotta make sure all my guys don't work past 5 o'clock. If we work Saturdays, I'm always gonna ask the customer. It could be a little bit more challenging on that side of the communication side of things. Commercial is a different animal. You got to make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Like if you miss something, like on a drawing, on a 90-page drawing, you got to eat it. It's just
Oh,
the way it is. Dog eat more, dog eat, dog well. Oh well, you gave it this quote, and I don't have room for that. You know,
oh,
um, just different animals. But
okay.
I like both.
Alright. Um, I always like to ask my, home services guests, when you're working in someone's house, have you had that guy who just follows you around and gives you all the advice you ever needed to know on how to fix his house? Did you get many of those people that would just follow you around the house?
Yeah, we get some customers that like to watch the guys, and then they call me with questions. Oh, hey, why are they doing it this way? Why are they
Yeah.
doing it that way? I mean, I love it in a way because I want them. I want my clients to be involved in the
Mhm.
jobs. I want them to really enjoy it. So I think it's great stuff.
Yeah.
As
And
long as they,
yeah.
not calling me 14 times a
Yeah,
day.
and not telling your guy, "I wouldn't do it that way, I would do it different," and you know what you wanna say to the guys, like, "Look, you hired me, let me do my job."
Yeah, and you'd be really surprised. Like the guys, like tower guys, like they don't mind sharing. Like if they're just like watching, like, oh, how are you doing it that way? What is this? The customers want to learn. All the guys, they enjoy that too.
Yeah, that's a huge thing for the customer when you can explain something and why you're doing it that way, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I get it now." That's a big satisfaction point.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
alright, so you were one of the things that got you to North Carolina, you were working at Overhead Construction Group. You were an operating supervisor, and I believe the
Yes.
description you wrote was you did not have control of your schedule or your life at times.
Yeah, it was I mean a multitude of things, corporate world, the company was changing in different directions. I really wanted to be a business owner and I didn't like how corporate structured certain ways. So my wife and I have always had like dreams and aspirations to open up a business when we move, a lot of flexibility, be entrepreneurs. Yeah, we left I left a really comfortable job, with a pension and everything, and but it was like a 3-year plan.
Mm,
But we're extremely happy with what we did. Now I'm my own boss. Yeah, I do work a lot during the week, but no, I'm my own boss, and it's
yep.
nice.
Yeah. So how did North Carolina get on the list of destinations for you guys to move to?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We knew we wanted to stay close to the beach. We both like the beach. So we knew we wanted to move to the south somewhere. We want a more warmer climate. Northeast, cold, it's brutal, depressing. So it was like from Virginia to Florida.
Okay.
Virginia, we visited like all different areas over 3 times, a 3-year plan. We probably take 7 different trips, my wife and I, maybe 3, 4 days at a time. South Carolina and Georgia probably wasn't our speed. Florida was a little too hot.
Mm,
And I wanted to move where there was a good growing market. Like I knew I was had my eyes on Charlotte, Raleigh area, and probably like Orlando, Florida. Those are my and then Greenville, South Carolina. But
yeah.
going once you get out of the city, there's just not more. I don't think for construction wise here. We came to Triangle area. We're like, wow, this is really nice. This is a lot of new areas. It felt like New York a little bit, New Jersey, where we're from. We really liked it the first time we came here, but let's not settle on the first place where we go. We visit everything else. We came back here. We were like, we feel really comfortable here. It's a good job market. Literally, 4 months later, sold our house in New Jersey and came here.
What was the biggest adjustment for you, not work wise, but just moving away from New York, which is what you always knew?
Biggest adjustment was probably, when we moved here in August of 2019, and then, COVID hit. We didn't move here to family being here. We moved here on our own to make
Mm,
our own family for my wife and I and our kids. There was probably first couple of years, probably, no friends, no family around. Then my mother-in-law moved down. We were a year and a half later. She lives pretty an hour away from us. Her and her husband moved down, so we have a little bit of family. Probably the biggest adjustment was probably that part. That was
yeah.
probably the hardest part. But then once we hit the 3.5 year point, it started feeling like home, and we just really love this area. Every time I go back up to New York, I can't wait to go back home. People are stressing me out driving, who's cutting who off, who's yelling at somebody. I'm like, I'm ready to go back to North Carolina.
Well, then you can answer one of the questions for us. Which area has the better drivers, the New York City area or the Triangle?
Different ways. New York City, everybody's in a rush. Everybody's cutting everybody off. Everybody's yelling at people. North Carolina, people do drive faster on the highways, and
Yep.
they tailgate pretty close, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yep.
So it's a different animal.
Yep. I hear you. I hear you on that. Do you miss the snow at all?
No, I don't. I don't miss the cold at all. It's nice to get a little snow here once in a while for the kids. We actually went sleigh riding this past winter
Mm,
for the first time in 6 years. But I love the heat. I'd rather be hot than cold. I don't miss it at all.
yeah. My brother-in-law is from a big Italian family right outside Cleveland. And every Sunday, for as long as he can remember, they went to his grandmother's house for sauce, which we would call spaghetti, but they call it sauce. Did your family have those regular gatherings like that?
Yeah, I come from a big Italian family. I'm three-quarters Italian, quarter Irish. My mother's side is full. Every Sunday, my grandmother for a long time always did that. And then as you got older, maybe once a month. But we always had sauce on Sunday
Yep.
for about 30 years.
Yep. We still have it. We go over to their house. They live in Atlanta. He married my sister. And when we go see them, he loves making sauce and we love eating it. Man, is it good. Yeah.
Oh, it's great food. Great
But
food.
do you have he has a ton of cousins, do you?
Yes. Yeah, not here.
But
I have a
just
lot
in
of family.
up there, yep.
Yeah. So I have an uncle that moved to Florida, and we go down there once, twice a year. He's got like 5 of my cousins down there. A lot
Okay.
of family there. Then New York, Florida, and then we're the only ones in North Carolina.
But back in the day when you were younger and that gathering at grandma's house, there was a lot of cousins to play with,
Oh,
right?
yeah. At least 9, 10 of us. Of course,
Those are
getting in trouble.
yeah, exactly. Somebody was getting yelled at, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys wouldn't have it any other way.
No, my grandmother used to always call everybody by their first name and middle name, and she used to always forget people's middle names. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Trying to tell us.
Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong. Grandma stories are the best. I'll be a huge fan of those. So, all right. So, the business that got you down here to North Carolina was with Footprints Floors. You were a franchisee.
Yeah,
Did
my
that work
first business.
better? Did that franchise model work better for you than just starting from scratch?
So yeah, the first business we had was a franchise model, and this one is our own business. It was we were gonna open up our own flooring business, but it felt like it was a safer bet. Safer, at the time it worked really, really well for us. I was able to ramp up faster. And that was my biggest goal. I wanted to ramp up as
Mm.
fast as I could, as efficiently as I could. It did. They have processes in place. There's some good franchises and some bad ones, but I feel like with that one, it was good for the time being. And then we were able. I was, I grew back to building stuff. So
Alright, so let's talk about that first day and first week when you opened the flooring franchise down here. What were some things you did to go find and get customers? What kind of tips would you share with the folks watching today?
I mean, I was just, you know, getting on all the Facebook groups, letting people know what we do. I did some paid police services. I went a little heavy on the marketing side of things, SEO, all stuff like that. And I was just like, me being from New York, it's just I know, connections, is a lot, very valuable. It's really who you know. And when I live in New York, my father always knew somebody that can do anything. Oh, your toilet's broken. Oh, call Johnny down the block. He's the plumber. He'll fix the toilet. All right, I'll do the floors, and it kind of networks. I just try to start growing my networks. And got some really good subcontractor crews. Just letting everybody know what we do. Just carrying business cards all the time. It's just really, really all you could do in the beginning. And then probably the most important thing is just do good work, then follow up the customer, get that good review, build up your 5-star reviews, and just if you do good work, you're going to get a lot of referrals. That was started becoming a big source.
Yeah. When did you kinda get a sense that this was working?
Probably the middle of the first year, we started having 100,000 plus months in that first summer. I started getting to 140, 150, $160,000 months, and I had 6 crews working every day, and I had 2 project managers. When I was like, all right, I started seeing this work, and I started seeing it. It was a good feeling.
On day 1, who all was on the payroll other than you?
It was just me on
Alright.
payroll, wife and I. It was just me, and then we had subcontracting and people doing the installations. And once we hit that March, I started hitting a point of money of revenue where I knew 3 months in a row, all right, I could bring on a project manager,
Yep.
and then because I could have lead, I brought up a project manager, and then I had a lot of leads, so I was like, I need somebody to help me sell. So I hired him, a salesperson, and I hired another project manager. Our first year of business, we broke $1 million. It's
Wow.
unheard of. Second year, we did 2.2. It was up to $3 million at the height of our company, for a
Very
flooring
nice.
company.
That probably put you near the top of a lot of lists in their franchise world, right?
Yes, I was actually franchise owner of the year. I was 3 years in a row top revenue producing franchise owner. I was one of the 40 under 40 National Wood Flooring Association recipients. I was top of Angie's List, top of Thumbtack,
Yep.
top of a couple of pay per lease services just for having the most 5-star reviews. We had a lot of accolades that came with it, so it definitely holds a special place in my heart. That organization because it got me started here. I wouldn't be here, without it.
So what helped you get past it? Because I'm sure you flew right past some existing franchisees that have been doing this a little bit longer than you. What made things click?
I was working a lot, putting in the efforts, following systems, be confident in what you do. If you, you know, I knew I had a lot of knowledge. I grew up in a very blue collar background, so my crew, I became, very friendly with them. Not best friends, but we became very, very friendly. You had that line there, but I knew their language. I understood construction. If they called me with a problem, I wasn't just like, oh, well, we'll figure it out. Don't talk to me. All right, well, what's going on? Oh, well, they would explain things to me, that probably don't make sense to other people. But me
Mm.
being in construction, something simple like, oh no, this floor joist and this and that. Oh well, I don't want to fix that, but you have to. You have to adjust it, or I'll go to the job site and look at it with them. My biggest thing with the crews, with my subcontractor guys, I always told them just be honest with me. Things gonna happen all the time. You're gonna poke a hole in the wall. It's gonna happen. I mean, just be honest with me. We'll do well together. I think that and just being organized, disciplined, making sure when I got home at night, if I had to go on the computer for an hour, I got on the computer for an hour. every morning, is making sure I'm staying organized, make sure I had clean work orders for my subcontract crews. Some entrepreneurs can sell really well, but they can't handle the production side of things. You
Yeah.
got to sell and produce and follow through. Just staying organized,
All right.
probably.
So give us a couple thoughts on finding good subcontractors. How do you find them and how do you gauge whether they are good and they're doing the work the way you want your brand to be remembered as?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can find your subcontractors from multiple areas. You can find them mostly myself now that I find them. I ask my sub base, who they know. Do you have any friends that do this? If I'm looking for another framer or something, I'll ask my concrete guys. I'll ask my flooring guys. I'll ask my painters. Who do you know? Usually they know someone that does it. Um, I meet them first myself, and then I ask them. You make sure you have insurance.
Yeah.
Make sure you fill out W-9. I want to see all that first before we even start talking. Because I'm not going to put anybody on my job sites that doesn't have any of that stuff. And then I want to take a look at their truck. I want to see what do they have a clean truck? I want to look at it.
Oh,
I'm not like going over there telling them to open that truck. I just take a quick look. If it looks
yeah.
clean, looks a little newer. This guy's probably good at what he does. And we start talking about construction. And then let me look at pictures. Let me look at your website. Let me see what you got. Sometimes I'll meet them on a job site on one of their jobs if I can. And if I feel comfortable about it, I'll start them off with a small job or a job at my house first. And that's how you do it. And then if they do good work, they show up on time. They do a good job, communicate well. Do everything I ask them to do, and then I'll put them on a bigger job.
I like the way you look at their truck because in general, I think everybody's car or vehicle tells us something about them. I'm sure somebody's written a book or two on that. But in your world, my hunch is if everything in their truck is labeled properly, it's put in the right place, you get some sort of comfort in knowing that they're organized and they kind of know what they're doing. Is that what you would draw from that?
Yeah, I want to make sure they have the proper tools, and having I know what it was like to work on a truck, and at the end of every day, I took 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just clean it, sweep it, keep it organized, and then when I got it the next day, it didn't clutter, and I wasn't missing anything. Oh, where's my staples? Where's my nails? Where's my that tool? Where's my drill? Everything is organized. I think it's organization is key for a lot of different things. I look for that stuff. That usually tells me that they really care
Mhm.
and they take a lot of pride in what they do. Because that's how I was. I cared a lot when I did my things, and that's how I was. When my work truck was super neat. My bedroom probably not, but my work truck is very neat.
Well, that's what you're getting paid for. So, but I'm with you on that. And for homeowners, when somebody comes to your front door and they are a home services, they're in the home services world, air conditioning, landscaping, flooring, it doesn't matter. That's one of the things they should look for, Rob. I'm with you. Is how on day one, the best I should ever see you is the first time I meet you. So, what image are you presenting to me? So, I imagine you learned that pretty early with your dad.
That's the other thing too. Is I tell all my guys like perception is everything. It's what you hit in the head, nail on the head. I want to make sure who's showing up on my job site, has a nice truck, they have the right tools, and also too, I tell my guys like, I got one tower crew. They like to work a little late, but they have to run through me, and I could tell them like, you know, it's you could be the best crew in the world, you could do the best job. If you're working late in somebody's house till 6, 7 o'clock every night and they have little kids, they're gonna hate you. It's
Mm,
perception. It's clean sweep your job site, take 5 minutes, do a quick walkthrough, make sure there's no water bottles anywhere, make sure it's just perception.
yeah.
It's something that you don't care about, but it's something that customers look at and they're like, "Oh wow, these guys are keeping a really good job site. They kept the plastic up. They're doing a great job in their dust mitigation, and the job's coming out great." That stuff is, I think, what sets you apart. Puts you in the top 10%.
Yep. And it can be as simple as when you walk in the house for the first time, do you put those little booties on or do you take your shoes off and just walk with socks so you don't mess up their carpet and tile and flooring?
Yeah, well, all my estimates, I always offer. I start taking my boots off. I offer them. 90% of the time, people respect that. I
Yep.
don't want people in my home as well.
Yep.
When we start a job site, our jobs usually, most of our jobs are, we're there for at least 3 weeks. So, day one, I'm there with the demo guys. We're putting down some rain board, thick cardboard. We're taping it. We're putting the plastic up in areas we need. I put a zipper. We get mitigation, dust mitigation control, because that's stuff important. I don't want to do a job and then all of a sudden the whole house is all full of dust. Yeah, you get a little bit of dust that comes through, but the more you can control it, the better.
So you said your partner is your wife, Sarah, and I always enjoy asking my guests on the show that are married. So I'm going to ask you, how did you and Sarah meet, and do you both tell the story the same way?
Yeah, we met in New York City a little over 10 years ago. She was living in Astoria, Queens at the time. She grew up upstate New York, outside of Syracuse, and we met in Manhattan, just hanging out at a bar in the Village. So we just hung out. From the day I met her, I knew I was gonna marry her. I knew she was a beautiful woman. We just clicked really well. After leaving, hanging out with her that night, I texted her. I was like, "Oh, hey, like, what are you doing tomorrow?" I know that's like breaking a call to a movie you're dating, but I didn't care. She was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, nothing more." You know, I was like, "Well, want to hang out again?" And then yeah, she invited me over her apartment, and we hung out. We ate some good food, and now we live in North Carolina with two businesses and two kids and a couple of dogs.
Yep. And I'm with you, man. You got to ask. If you sit around and wait, well, is it no? To heck with whatever somebody else said in a book about you should wait 48 hours. No, man, you ought to be with her again. Call her. So I commend you on that. Were you guys at that bar with any common friends? How'd you get talking?
Yeah, we were. I just saw her. I just said, "Hey, how's it going?" I thought she was a beautiful woman. We just started talking. I was with a couple of friends. She was with a couple of friends, and we were just hanging out. She's great. I couldn't ask for a better partner. For life and for business. She has a lot of good strengths that I don't have, like the handling all the paperwork.
Mm,
Dealing with all the taxes. Doing a lot of that stuff. The business. She handles all the paperwork, dealing with the all the vendors. And she just keeps all that stuff really, really organized for me. I'm the field guy. I'm more of an extrovert. She's more of an introvert. We're really a great team. We trust each other, and there's no, we have like a good little checks and balances system for ourselves. But at the same time, like I fully trust that she's gonna do what she has to do for our businesses, and she fully trusts me. So it
yeah.
works well.
And I always ask husband and wife, business partners, what do you guys talk about after 5:30 and who breaks the tie?
Well, my wife will tell me to stop thinking about and talking about work stuff, and then well, we just talk about the kids. Maybe our next trip. We like to travel a lot. We like to take trips with the kids. The life in general, pretty much.
I usually find that one person says, "Time to turn the computer off," and the other one says, "Give me one more minute, honey."
Yeah, I'm always thinking about work. It's hard for me to
Yeah,
not think about work.
yeah.
My brain's always going.
So if there's an issue you guys are dealing with and there's a 1-1 vote, who breaks the tie?
Yes,
Who does?
yes.
Who does?
Probably her.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Happy
Eh,
wife, happy life.
there you go, yep. And usually she's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, so,
She always is. I'll come back around. I was like, you know what? You were right 2 weeks ago on that.
yeah.
Usually, women are a little smarter than men when it comes to that stuff.
And yeah, and she gives you a kiss on the cheek and goes, "Huh," and then walks away.
Yeah. Like, listen, Rob. Remember a couple months ago you didn't
Yeah,
listen to me?
yeah.
Listen to me now, okay?
So she would not be a networker, and a BNI member, correct? She's a little quiet for that?
She No, I mean, I tried. She came to our group once when we first launched. It's just not her thing.
Yep,
She's more of an extrovert. So,
yep,
she also should, with the kids and stuff. She gets them to school, gets them back, but she handles all that stuff. So I don't,
yep.
my kids are always in good hands.
I hear you. No, I hear you. So when did you first hear about BNI, either in New York or in North Carolina?
I mean, I've heard of it around in New York, and my uncle was part of it in Florida when he moved out there 20 plus years ago. He had good things about to say. Then I have having that Flooring franchise, I met other people that were entrepreneurs throughout the country, became really good friends with them, still really good friends with them to this day. And one guy was just telling me about BNI, like, I didn't really know much about it. Like, oh, no, it's really good. You can get a lot of work out of it. You can get Mika subcontracted and stuff. So I found the one in Durham, Bull City. I was there, great member, very proud member there for over a year and a half. It was great for my business. It helped me expand, remodel and construction as well in a lot of different ways. I really the meeting every week. I enjoy the meeting. I enjoy meeting people, networking. You know, I probably wouldn't be as successful as I am with A&R Model Construction if it wasn't for BNI. I've met employees through BNI. I've met a lot of subcontractors. BNI has been really good to me.
Yeah, and I like the times we've been together. I like the way you when I visited your chapter, I like the way that you interacted with the other trades, and I could sense that they knew that I need to hang out with Rob a little bit more because you kind of knew what you were talking about.
Well, thank you for that.
So in now with the business you built where it is today, what's your day-to-day role as far as being on a job site, selling, whatever it is? What's your role these days?
Yeah, so right now I'm wearing a lot of the hats. This year, next year is going to be growth years in a lot of different ways. So we have a lot of contracts right now. I have 13 jobs on this in progress right now. I have a project manager, estimated guy I just hired, so he's helping out with a lot of project management. And I have another part-time project manager. He's a good friend of mine. He's been in construction a long time. He's helping me out manage a couple of larger projects. My day to day, I mean, I'm up really early. I'm a 5 o'clock guy. I'm on the computer an hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning, just handling paperwork, a lot of permitting stuff, handling budgets for jobs, schedules for jobs, estimates, anything that's got to get done. Emails. I like to do it in the morning time before everybody else gets up.
Yeah.
That's my zoned in time. I get a lot done. I'm usually leaving the house between 7:30 to 8:30, depending on where I gotta be. 5 days a week, I'm pretty much in the field until 4 to 6 p.m. Get home around that time. I always got a bit of paperwork at night. Like I said, right now I'm wearing a lot of the hats, so I got a lot of work going on. But future goals is to have another full-time project manager soon, and then probably another estimator within this year. And then I want to have 3 different divisions. I want to do a lot of residential work. Starting to dabble into the commercial world here. We did a couple of commercial projects. Getting into that there. I have a business partner that I work with for that. We work together on that. He owns another construction company, but we partner up on a lot of large projects. And then hopefully by the end of this year, we're gonna start our first new construction project.
Very
So we're getting into
nice.
that.
Huh?
New construction developing. That really gets me really excited. That stuff.
All right, so let's give a couple tips out here for the people that probably maybe a couple years behind you in starting a new business. What's a couple, three things they need to have in place before they get moving forward?
Any type of business or
Yeah,
construction business.
any type of business.
I think you need to have a business plan in place. Make sure you have capital. If your
Yeah.
capital is you're self financing or you're doing SBA loan, whatever it is, that's your business. Your first year you might not make any money when you start a business.
Yeah,
It
and
took me to the 6 months. 6 months to start turning a profit.
mhm.
You need to have a month, a year of money to pay your bills on the side. I hope everybody's super profitable with the bat,
Yeah,
but
and
sometimes.
one of the things business owners get in trouble with is they're not funded properly, like you said, and then you start making decisions you don't really want to make because you start taking jobs you don't want, like the painter who doesn't want to start a business to paint one room has to take the job to paint one room just because they need 300 bucks coming in or whatever it is. So I'm glad you mentioned the funded properly because, yeah, and that way, if you're funded properly and you know I can go 9 months without taking a paycheck and everything's still good, you will act differently and you won't start thinking like, oh, we better take this job or start getting off of your business plan.
Yeah, just make sure some businesses start taking a couple years to turn a profit. Some businesses turn a profit right away. It's really on your model. Get with a business coach, write a business plan. If you're going to be the owner operator, I wouldn't be working another job at the same time. You're going to take your
Mm.
full the divided attention. If it's a business with a couple of business partners and you're hiring somebody to run the day to day, just really make sure that they're the subject matter expert. A lot of things I do with anybody I hire, even subcontractor, I do background checks on it. I Google them. Just want to make sure
Yeah.
who's working for me. Is a good person as they say they are.
Oh, yep.
And just it might take a couple of years to really grind, but one day you'll wake up. Oh, I'm happy I did this. But it takes a lot of work.
Yeah. And folks, you may be the smartest person in your industry, but if you don't have the right people working for you, it's going to be a struggle. And Rob, I think you can probably attest to that both in New York and in the Triangle, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because you got to be able to know that the vendor, the subcontractors and all my people I'm sending out are going to do it the Rob way, which is what you started and why you hired them.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be very organized with whoever's working for you. If you have direct reports, subcontractors, make sure they have, they're proper, because they could be the best guy in the world, but if they don't know what to do, they don't have leadership. It's just everybody just needs a little bit of direction to it.
Yep. All right. Well, Rob, folks, we've been putting Rob's phone number up on the screen here. If you want anything done, you got the project you've been trying to do, and now's the time. Give him a call. You want somebody with experience. You want somebody that's going to make sure you're taken care of and knows what they're doing. Rob certainly proved that. Rob, we appreciate you joining the show today, and hopefully 2025 has been off to a good start. And I'm assuming this time next year in 2026, you may have 9 businesses going, right?
We'll see.
You're not the sit around type, right?
No, definitely not.
Well, good. All right. Well,
Well,
congratulations on your success and good luck the rest of the year. We appreciate having you on the show.
thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yep. And we will see everybody next time on Capital to the Coast BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.